We understand you're writing a book on crowdsourcing.
Yeah.
And it should be out in 2015.
Yeah, hopefully
Soon.
by the American film market in 2015, yeah.
Okay, by Focal Press.
By Focal Press, it's part of a new imprint for them, the American Film Market Presents. So there's a few titles that they're going to launch this year, and this is one of them.
Okay. What's the difference, though, between crowdfunding and crowdsourcing?
Good question. This is the question that comes up all the time. So I tell people I'm writing a book about crowdsourcing, they immediately think crowdfunding. Crowdfunding, of course, is, you know, getting people to donate to a project of, we're going to keep it in film, to your film project. You set a goal, you go out and market yourself, you know, you set up a Kickstarter page, an Indiegogo page, and you have people donate to the cause. Within crowdfunding, there is an element of crowdsourcing. Crowdsourcing is all about identifying a crowd, engaging a crowd, and moving a crowd. So for example, let's stay inside the realm of a crowdfunding campaign. One of the case studies I have in the book is a documentary called A Mile, Mile and a Half. Okay, Mile, Mile and a Half was about 5 cinematographers and a sound editor who decided that they're all health enthusiasts as well. They decided that they were going to hike the entirety of the John Muir Trail, which is like 206 miles, and film it and record it, like the different ecosystems, the whole entire thing, to show it in its natural beauty. Now, on the surface, that doesn't sound like a broad-based, like something that everybody and the mother's going to want to watch. But what they did, and this was 3 to 6 months before they even started the campaign, was they went out and they started engaging hikers, health enthusiasts, camera people, you know, people that were into camera equipment and sound equipment and things of that nature, cinematographers and things of that nature, filmmakers, and said, here's what we're looking to do. And started a campaign on Facebook and on Twitter and on the social media, and, you know, got people, for example, to, what's your favorite trail to hike? How long have you been hiking? Do you have any tricks of the trade when you're out hiking overnight? When you go camping, what do you do? Things of this nature. And they built a community. That's crowdsourcing, okay? They identified a crowd and they started engaging the crowd. By the time that they were ready to go hike and then, you know, even start this campaign, and they were going for an $85,000 raise, which is a lot of money, right? Especially for a documentary, you know, and this kind of documentary. They had already had about 40,000 followers on Twitter, or likes on Twitter, however many, I mean on Facebook, I'm sorry, however many on Twitter. And they had engaged all sorts of bloggers who wrote about hiking, bloggers who wrote about the outdoors, you know, so on and so forth. All of a sudden, some of these people went to outdoor gear companies and said, hey, you should check out what these guys are doing. And all of a sudden, they were getting gear donated to them, camera equipment donated to them. All this stuff started happening before they even thought about putting the campaign live. That's crowdsourcing. That's the first 2 steps of crowdsourcing: identifying the crowd, engaging the crowd, asking them questions, getting them involved, getting them engaged. They were posting videos all the time about what they planned to do on the trail, pictures from the trail, you know, that other people had taken. They got people who had already hiked the trail to put up their videos and stuff like that. When the time came for them to start promoting the Kickstarter campaign, they went to the crowd and they said, okay, we're ready. Now we're going to ask, would you support this project? The money came flowing in, okay? Everybody wanted to be involved because they had taken the time to identify and engage, and now they were asking them to move. So it's all about, that's exactly what crowdsourcing is. And you could do that for anything when it comes to a film. You could do that for locations, you know, you could do it for characters. You know, I'm doing this film, and this is the subject of the film, and maybe the subject of the film is, you know, children with autism. So you go to a group and you say, you know, this is what the film is about. This is what my character is about. Who would like to name the character? Like, you know, like these are the names that we've come up with for the main character. Like, vote for it. And now all of a sudden there's an engagement. You know, there's an involvement. That's crowdsourcing. And so the book, you know, covers all aspects of crowdsourcing: social media, crowdfunding, networking offline. You name it. It's got 5 or 6 case studies in it, ranging from shorts to features to documentaries. And even, you know, at Stage 32, there's a little part about that in there because we've crowdsourced the site from day one. The first day that I opened the doors to this thing, I went to 100 of my friends and I said, take a look at it. Tell me what you like and what you don't like. So that's immediately crowdsourcing, okay? Because I'm asking you to, and here's some features I was thinking about adding. You tell me if you think they're good or if you have other suggestions, okay? But the bigger ask was, if you like what we're doing, if you like this concept, I would like you to go out and invite 5 fellow creatives that you know, minimum, okay? And I'm going to ask them to invite 5 more people, minimum. We've been doing that since day one. We've never paid for advertising. We've never done any, outward marketing, outside of our own promotions and at events and things of that nature. We have 400,000 people on the site, and it's just because people invite thousands, sometimes hundreds, thousands, dozens, whatever, at a time. People will invite their entire cast and crew. People will invite their entire acting, class or their screenwriting group or whatever. That's crowdsourcing. It's getting them engaged, making them understand, making them a part of it, and then asking them to go carry the message.
So the intention of crowdsourcing isn't always to then launch a crowdfunding campaign?
No.
Okay.
No.
I just wanted to make sure that was clear. Okay.
No. But there is an element of crowdsourcing within every crowdfunding campaign, and that's about cultivating the audience. We talked earlier about crowdfunding, and we talked about the idea that a lot of these campaigns fail, not only because you don't have a marketing plan before you start. Any good crowdfunding campaign should have a 3 to 6 month, launch or ramp up, I should say, before you launch. But it's approach. You see, when we go back to that idea of hey you, as opposed to would you, right. Would you like to be involved in this? Can I give you ownership of kind of what we're doing? Can I make you feel like you're a part of it? Going back to the mile and a half example, here's this hiking, cinematography, nature, hybrid. When the film premiered at the LA First Glance Film Festival, they had to open up so many people showed up, they had to open up a second theater. That had never happened before in the history of the festival. And it was because all these people had been so engaged for so long that they couldn't wait to see it because they felt like they were a part of it. It was a 1.5-year journey to the screen, and they were there every step along the way, you know what I mean? And they felt pride and ownership in that. They sold a gajillion, DVDs at the festival. The movie ended up being number 2 on iTunes in the documentary section behind Hero Dreams of Sushi, which has been up there forever. And, it was all because they moved the crowd, and the crowd supported it.
From the crowdfunding campaigns that you've watched from afar or even supported, been involved in, what percentage would you say don't have an idea about how to crowdsource? They know how to pull that trigger and launch that campaign and say, me, here I am, donate. But they're not that great at cultivating a community.
90%.
90%, okay.
It's a high number. It's a lot of people just don't get it. And, again, it's that if you build it, they will come mentality. And it just does not work it might work with products. You see like the Pebble watch or something like that. Like it might work with a product because people are so awed by and say, oh, I want one of those. But with a film, the competition is so fierce for your eyeballs. There's so many crowdfunding campaigns. And if you are popular on social media, you are getting inundated with people saying, look at my campaign, look at it, look at it, look at it. It's the people that say, hey, I'm doing a movie on da-da-da-da-da, and you go, oh, that's cool. And where you at with it? Well, we're probably 6 months out from even pre-production, but this is what we're going to do. And I happen to notice that it's a movie about baseball. I understand you're a baseball fan. Da, 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 da. Why, what's your favorite team? And you're cultivating that relationship, even if it's not just doing it directly to me one-on-one, but doing it to your whole entire group and asking those questions, and getting them involved. It makes such a difference that by the time when you finally get to that point when you're ready to launch, and you finally make what we call the ask, you haven't asked for anything before. You've asked questions of me, about my likes and everything like that, but you haven't asked me for anything. And now, of course, I'm going to be more engaged and more likely to support you because you not only identified the fact that I like, that I'm your target audience, but you've done it in a way that makes me feel engaged and connected to you. So I'm much more likely to support you as opposed to, hey, you.